The story takes place at a train station in the Ebro River Valley of Spain. This particular day is oppressively hot and dry, and the scenery in the valley is barren and ugly for the most part. The two main characters are a man and his female companion, whom he refers to as Jig. While waiting for the train to Madrid, the American and the girl with him drink beer and a liquor called Anis del Toro, which the girl compares to licorice. Their conversation is mundane at first, but quickly drifts to the subject of an operation the American is attempting to convince the girl to undergo. After posing arguments to which the American is largely unresponsive, the girl assents to the operation, while declaring that she does not care about herself. The man tries to give the girl a feel that he is letting her decide, but tries to convince her to proceed with the operation. The girl is uncomfortable with their conversation and tries to persuade the man into quieting. He does not concur. The barmaid comes out through the bedded curtains with the two glasses of beer and puts them down on the felt pads. She notes that the train will be arriving shortly. The girl is distracted, but then she smiles brightly at the woman and thanks her. The American leaves the table and carries their bags to the opposing platform, but there's still no sight of the train in the distance. He walks back to the station, and everyone else is still waiting reasonably for the train. Pausing at the bar, he drinks another Anis del Toro alone before joining the girl. He then asks her, "Do you feel better?" She again smiles at him. "I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel fine." The American, the male protagonist of the story. The American never reveals his name, nor does the girl ever directly addresses him by name. He is determined to convince the girl to have the operation, but tries to appear as though he doesn't care about what she does. He remains disconnected from his surroundings, not really understanding or even listening to what the girl has to say. The girl, the female protagonist of the story. The American calls the girl Jig at one point in the story, but never mentions her real name. Unlike the American, the girl is less sure about what she wants and appears reluctant to have the operation in questions. She alternates between wanting to talk about the operation and wanting to avoid the topic altogether. The bartender, the woman serving drinks to the American and the girl. The bartender speaks only Spanish. White elephants. From the perspective of the American, one of the hills resembling white elephant is the enlargement of the uterus that is becoming or will soon become evident as Jig's baby grows. A white elephant is a largely useless object that may be expensive to own and maintain, according to one of its definitions in standard dictionaries. From the perspective of Jig, one of the hills may represent the lifestyle of her and the American. Railroad tracks. Railroad tracks run side by side but never meet. Thus, they could symbolize the relationship of Jig and the American. Green side of the station. Obviously, this represents life, the baby, and the new beginning. Arid side of the station. This represents dissipation and death. Anis del Toro. This represents the excitement the American offers Jig, but it fails to steer her. Luggage. This represents the past, which is the same as the future to the American. When he picks up the luggage and carries them to the other side of the station, he is indicating that he wants to continue as before. Even though the girl had asked the American man to order the absinthe because she had never tried it before, she immediately puts her glass back on the table after the first taste, surprised by the drink's sharp bite. She remarks that her drink tastes like licorice and then tries to softly broach the subject of her pregnancy again, because the American had ignored her earlier comment that the nearby hills look like white elephants, basically rehashing the adage, be careful what you wish for because it may come true. The girl recognizes the irony in not liking the taste of drink she had asked the man to order for her, just as she presumably dislikes being pregnant when she'd always wish for a baby. The man, however, perhaps senses the underlying message of the girl's seemingly casual remark and tells her to be quiet, prompting her to once more bring up the subject of white elephants. By this point, midway through the story, the girl has already retracted her previous comment that the surrounding hills look like white elephants, hinting that she wants to keep the baby instead of having an abortion. The man had been upset at this indifference but pushing for the abortion because he doesn't want the child. Still hoping to save the broken relationship, the girl asked her boyfriend whether things between them will return to the way they used to be if she goes through with the abortion. Her indecision and desire to placate the man and demonstrate her dependence on him. At the same time, however, the mere fact that she asked the questions may imply that she believes that nothing can save their relationship. This is my dialogue between the two shows the man's ignorance. The girl is referring to her unborn child and stating that he would not have seen one because he doesn't see the child as anything more than something to get rid of. They continue with casual talk and avoid the white elephants in the room. They talk about the beer and the taste of the licorice. This implies the man's hidden agenda, especially because he states it several times. The man later states that he doesn't want the girl to do anything that she doesn't want to do. He's trying to show his caring and loving side for the girl to further pursue her to go through with the operation. Though they are both able to get their respective positions across, neither of them is able to articulate why they feel the way they do. As a result, they both feel threatened, bullied, accused, and misunderstood. At this point, the tone becomes subdued, which is what we see in the final two lines of the story. Since they can't get past what they want to talk about why they want it, there is a complete communication breakdown. Hills like white elephants showcase abortion, which is one of the epidemics in our society. This story revolves around a man and a girl having an argument on what to do. The train station, which is the setting of the story, symbolizes the two different paths. One path is described somewhat a life while the other side as dry and lifeless. At first, their argument wasn't clear but later on the conflict was somehow revealed. One side represents to pursue abortion and the other is to let the child live. The man and the woman were having a hard time to decide. The story ends with no definite ending. I mean, the story is open-ended, which I really like about the story. It left us to think and analyze on our own how the story ends using the last lines or paragraphs of the story. It's a very good exercise for us to be logical and critical. This story really reflects how society has grown worse. Abortion has been ubiquitous, especially for teenagers who cannot support nor raise a child. Hemingway wrote this in the 1920s when women were not seen as independent or even capable of making this kind of choices. The man in the story has made this decision, but instead of forcing her, he instead tries to pursue her. The man is ignorant and careless. He lies to the girl, saying that he cares for her and they can have the world. The girl surprised me when she told the man, and once they take it away, you never get it back. She kind of takes a stand with him and lets him know she is aware of what's going on. I also think that Hemingway refers to her as a girl because she is young and immature. He calls the waitress a woman. This signifies that the girl is younger. Her way of thinking when it comes to their relationship also shows her immaturity. She states that she does not care about herself and that she would do whatever it takes to make the relationship last. She says, "Oh yes, but I don't care about me, and I'll do it, and then everything will be fine." Hemingway does an excellent job representing reality for this time. This story is also timeless and can be felt by people in many places and at many different times. I think that the using symbolism not only gets a point across, but also hits the reader deeper because it makes the reader look into the story on a deeper level and also use the mind from different angle.